Hello, procrastinators, and welcome to Nerd³ FW. Today, the beginner's guide. This is going to be an interesting video. I'm going to split up into 3 sections, each more spoilery than the last, and I will give you a warning of how spoilery the next section's going to be. The first section is me simply saying, go and play this game knowing nothing about it. It's the best thing you can do for this game. The more you know about it, the less effective it's going to be. And you want this game to be as effective as possible. I will point out, if you're someone looking for if you just play games to unwind or have fun, if you think the primary goal of games is to have fun, this is not one for you. But if you are like me and you like new experiences, this game touches on a lot of stuff that no game has done ever that I can remember. And I would totally recommend it if you want something brand new. So yeah, go away. If you want to play this game, go away. That's it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Just piss off now. Thanks for coming. We'll get into section 2 now, which is I'm just going to play the early part of the game. Just the first 10 minutes or so. I won't do much talking in it, as you'll see. But yeah, we'll have a look at the first part of this game. Right. Begin the game. Always a good start. There's a white screen. Please make sure audio is on. Yes. More. Oh shit. Turn it up. There we go. Controls. Well, sad and click. Oh yeah. I'm just a walking simulator here. And there's my mouse. And it's gone.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable. And while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
November 2008. I'm still here, by the way. Just in case you cared.
1
the gun.
Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Security hull breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Whee! Oh.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
And we go again.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay, we shall do that in November 2009. I can't move. Oh, backwards.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
I really like this as an idea.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
It's a bit anti-chambers.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
That's the opposite of my review of Metal Gear Solid 5. Ooh. I'd like to point out there's no jump scares or anything in this game. Oh, there's one, sort of. But it's
And
not
that's
like
it.
There.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to do just one more.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I'm going to end it there. That's the opening of the beginner's guide. It took me 88 minutes to complete. Let's quit to the main menu for now. 88 minutes it took me to complete through it. So it's about the length of a movie. If that interests you at all, go and pick it up. If you've already picked up and played it, this is what the third thing that I'm going to do now. I'm going to discuss some of the themes and stuff that came up. I don't want to get too spoilery with it, but I do want to talk about it. So if that seemed interesting to you at all, then go pick it up, because it kind of carries on from there as you witness someone's games. It's interesting. So, yeah. Now you kind of know what the game is about a little. You've got an idea for it. And as you can see, it's a hell of a lot more interesting and interactive than most of the walking simulators. In fact, actually, it does a bloody good job of telling a story, because it doesn't tell... It makes you care about the story. It does a great job of that. It really... This is now the third bit. Let's go into the third bit, the third section of this video, which is just going to be a bit more natter. So from here on out, there may be spoilers. Spoilers you won't particularly get if you haven't played the game, though. So this is more for the people who have played the game, because I have a few thoughts I want to share about it. So third section now. Get out if you want to play the game. There are... Where do I even fucking begin with this game? I've spent... So it was... I can't remember how much this game was. £8-9 or whatever. I think it was... No, it was £5-6 on a release, sorry. Because it was a few pence off. A few percent off, sorry. And it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it because it's pretty much just the length of a movie, and I got a lot out of it. But it's mostly because it feels like it's a key to some incredibly interesting conversations. I've listened to hours and hours of podcasts about this game since I finished playing it. Because as soon as it came out, I was like, I made Stanley Parable, let's play his next thing. It like opens up a world, and everybody has a different interpretation and how they take away from it. And it's... I described it, in a tweet I never actually tweeted because I thought it was too spoilery. It's art without pretension, because it makes you want to discuss and chat about it, but it's not all like... Because like... Oh, what the fuck was that one I just recently played called? The one with the posh English villagey thing. Oh, the name's lost on me. Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. All that did, it's real... The discussion point was, what was the thing? What was it? Aliens? Was it things? It was an entity? Was it God? And that's boring. That's kind of a boring thing to discuss. This is just... Is this a work of fiction or not? Like, I've never come away from anything going, did that actually happen? Was that real? Was that a thing? Because, like, there's two ways to read it. Either you can read it as that is fiction. And as a piece of fiction, it's exceptional, and it drew me in, and it beat me up a little, and then it spat me out, and I was incredibly... Not happy, it's an incredibly uncomfortable game. But I enjoy when games take me to new places. It's taken me quite a while to get over it, which is odd for me. Not a great time at the moment for me. But, I just noticed the background is birds, then fire, then water. I don't know what that means. Probably something. Lots to discuss. Yeah, no, it has that sort of discussion edge, because it's got that... Did it really happen? No, that's what I'm saying. If it was fiction, then it's an incredibly well-told piece of fiction that drew me in and made me unsure if it was fiction, which is entirely its point. But if it's real... This guy's an asshole. Like, really, really an asshole. Like, because he's selling this? I'm not gonna go into too many spoilers. This is just for people who played the game. But That's, to me, sorry, I'm moving my mouse, that's bravery. Like, because when they go, oh, it's very brave to make this game. Oh, it's very brave to make this game. Like, fucking Depression Quest, like, oh, it's a very brave game. No, it's not. It's about as emotionally resonative as a... Resonative? Is that the word? Resonate. What's the... Resonative? Resonative? Resonative. Resonative. That's the word. It emotionally resonates about as well as a tuning fork made of mashed potato does Depression Quest. It's a awful representation of depression because it has just a right idea. It's like, I'll do the good things. Click the good things. Click the good things. Click the good things. Oh, I'm feeling better. And it ends. But this, yeah, it's... Oh, jeez, it really got to me for several ways. It feels like it's a lot like... Sorry, I'm going to be all over the place this. I haven't written any notes or anything. It feels a bit like it's a game for game critics. There's a certain type of creator who creates and becomes sort of like that area's favourite. So say Billy Connolly is not the world's most famous comedian, but he's every stand-up comedian's favourite comedian. Pretty much. Like, he's the top. That's his thing. Wheezy Wader is pretty much every YouTuber's favourite YouTuber because he's like on the edge of everything and he's always just slightly ahead of everyone, and that's what I love about him. So this feels a bit like that. It feels like it's a bit... But maybe that's only how I took away from it. That's only what I took away from it, because that's the angle that I'm coming at it from. And I said it was a brave game. The reason it's a brave game, genuinely, is because it on purpose doesn't let you know if it's real or not. But if it is real, this guy's an asshole. So he's actually left open, I just could be an asshole. My brain says it's fiction. But my gut thinks there's a little more to it than that. There's something else there. It's a tricky one. I think the real theme that I got from it, which is something is a big deal for me, is you don't know someone through the things that they create. I mean, even in that section there was a bit where he says, let's dig out the person behind the art. But that's not a thing. Like, especially now this is incredibly relevant in the days of the internet, where you don't know me. You know my stuff, and you go, oh, I'm a huge fan of Nerd³. I like Nerd³. I'd love him at a dinner party, but you wouldn't, because that's not who I am. You like the character, the one that I portray, and in the era of the internet, that's a huge, huge thing now. That we have these huge personalities, and everybody's got these... A thing that I've said I've headed many times is that, hey, we're best friends! Come to my channel, listen to my stuff, we're best friends. I've never gone in for that. I've made it explicitly clear on many occasions and after a few specific events that we're not friends, and I know that's harsh. I fantastically appreciate you listening to my stuff and enjoying my stuff. And it's a wonderful thing, and I love creating it for you, but that's it. That's the relationship we have. It's not a friendship. When I see on Twitter constantly, never-endingly, people going, be my friend, do this, message me, follow me, DM me, reply please. It's that you don't know me, you just like the thing that I do. The thing that I do is no bearing on me. I mean, if you look at something like Systems Nominal, the game that I made, if you actually were fucking good enough at that game to get to the ending, and you fucking had to earn it, and I made sure you had to earn it, and you saw the ending of that, you're aware that is in tone so different to everything else I've ever done. Like, I just like to do what I like to do. And I'm currently, the big game that we're currently working on is, again, it's going to be something, another different tone, so you can't really tell who someone is through their work, and that's the real theme that hit me hard from this. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff in there. There's sort of toxic friendships and that sort of thing that I think everyone will be able to take away from. But that was the one that really got to me, and I haven't seen many people discussing that one. So yeah, this was a bit of a chatty, wittery video, but I think it needs to be. I think that's what you need to do with this game. There's slight spoilers because there is a big reboot coming, as many of you may know. There will be a bit more space taken out to do discussion like this in a new video series that's going to be starting, which I'm quite excited for. But yeah, that was try not to spoil anything in the comments if you have finished it. There are other places actually having open discussions. I'd go there if I was you. But it's... yeah. I think I'm glad I played it. I think I am. I know I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoyed the place that it took me. And I hope it's not real. Because... maybe there's actually a... sorry, something I just realised, replaying it, having known what the ending is. The bit where he skips the labyrinth. Because he didn't find anything in there. He was like, I don't know why this is here. I'll skip it. Like, what the like, he'd taken this guy's stuff and modified it so he gets his own message across from it. If it's real, he hasn't learnt a lesson from it. It can't be real, can it? I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.
To the domain of the Nerd³ videos dropping from above like bird poo. Enter the domain of the Nerd³ videos dropping from above like bird poo.